A baby is sleeping in the cradle. A baby is sleeping in the cradle. A ball is floating down the river. A ball is floating down the river. A car stopped at the entrance. A car stopped at the entrance. A cat appeared from under the desk. A cat appeared from under the desk. A cat came out from under the desk. A cat came out from under the desk. A cat was sitting on the chair. A cat was sitting on the chair. A crowd gathered at the scene. A crowd gathered at the scene. A few days' rest will do you good. A few days' rest will do you good. A friend of mine is studying abroad. A friend of mine is studying abroad. A group of young men were fighting. A group of young men were fighting. A lot of soldiers were killed here. A lot of soldiers were killed here. A refrigerator keeps meat fresh. A refrigerator keeps meat fresh. A ring and some cash are missing. A ring and some cash are missing. A ship sank near here yesterday. A ship sank near here yesterday. About how many books do you have? About how many books do you have? Algebra is a branch of mathematics. Algebra is a branch of mathematics. All of my friends like soccer. All of my friends like soccer. All plants need water and light. All plants need water and light. All the boys in the class worked hard. All the boys in the class worked hard. All the players did their best. All the players did their best. Almost all of the dogs are alive. Almost all of the dogs are alive. Americans are very friendly people. Americans are very friendly people. An expert was called for advice. An expert was called for advice. An old woman was burnt to death. An old woman was burnt to death. Are there any bears around here? Are there any bears around here? Are there 2 windows in your room? Are there 2 windows in your room? Are you a high school student? Are you a high school student? Are you allergic to any medicine? Are you allergic to any medicine? Are you finished with your work? Are you finished with your work? Are you for or against his idea? Are you for or against his idea? Are you for or against my plan? Are you for or against my plan? Are you going to work until 10? Are you going to work until 10? Are you going to help me or what? Are you going to help me or what? Are you happy with how you look? Are you happy with how you look? Are you happy with your weight? Are you happy with your weight? Are you prepared for the worst? Are you prepared for the worst? Are you quite certain about it? Are you quite certain about it? Are you responsible for this mess? Are you responsible for this mess? Are you seriously thinking about going? Are you seriously thinking about going? Are you still in love with your wife? Are you still in love with your wife? Are you still playing the bassoon? Are you still playing the bassoon? Are you sure that you want to do this? Are you sure that you want to do this? Are you sure that you want to go there? Are you sure that you want to go there? Are you through with the paper? Are you through with the paper? Are you through with your breakfast? Are you through with your breakfast? Are you through with your homework? Are you through with your homework? As far as I know, he isn't lazy. As far as I know, he isn't lazy. Ask her when he will come back. Ask her when he will come back. Ask him when the next plane leaves. Ask him when the next plane leaves. At last, the baby fell asleep. At last, the baby fell asleep. Bad weather kept us from going out. Bad weather kept us from going out. Be careful about what you eat. Be careful about what you eat. Be careful not to catch a cold. Be careful not to catch a cold. Because he's sick, he can't come. Because he's sick, he can't come. Bill has a lot of original ideas. Bill has a lot of original ideas. Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. Both countries are now at peace. Both countries are now at peace. Bring me a cup of coffee, will you? Bring me a cup of coffee, will you? Brush your teeth after each meal. Brush your teeth after each meal. Call me at 6:30, please. Call me at 6:30, please. Call me when you get settled in. Call me when you get settled in. Can I carry this on the plane? Can I carry this on the plane? Can I ride this horse for a while? Can I ride this horse for a while? Can I speak to the person in charge? Can I speak to the person in charge? Can we roller skate in this park? Can we roller skate in this park? Can you gift wrap this, please? Can you gift wrap this, please? Can you help look after the kids? Can you help look after the kids? Can you help me wash these dishes? Can you help me wash these dishes? Can you pass me the salt, please? Can you pass me the salt, please? Can you pick me up at the station? Can you pick me up at the station? Can you read that sign ahead of us? Can you read that sign ahead of us? Can you see anything over there? Can you see anything over there? Can you swim as fast as he can? Can you swim as fast as he can? Can't you discount it a little? Can't you discount it a little? Can't you do something to help me? Can't you do something to help me? Can't you guess what I'm doing? Can't you guess what I'm doing? Children often ask me for money. Children often ask me for money. Children should obey their parents. Children should obey their parents. Christmas Day is December 25th. Christmas Day is December 25th. Christmas is only 2 weeks off. Christmas is only 2 weeks off. Class doesn't begin until 8:30. Class doesn't begin until 8:30. Comb your hair before you go out. Comb your hair before you go out. Come and see me anytime you like. Come and see me anytime you like. Come and see me at 11 o'clock. Come and see me at 11 o'clock. Come and see me once in a while. Come and see me once in a while. Come and see me when you have time. Come and see me when you have time. Compare your answer with Tom's. Compare your answer with Tom's. Could I get one more beer, please? Could I get one more beer, please? Could I have a glass of white wine? Could I have a glass of white wine? Could I have one more coffee, please? Could I have one more coffee, please? Could I have some more coffee? Could I have some more coffee? Could I have the bill, please? Could I have the bill, please? Could I have 3 cinnamon donuts? Could I have 3 cinnamon donuts? Could I see you a minute, please? Could I see you a minute, please? Could I see your driver's license? Could I see your driver's license? Could we have a table outside? Could we have a table outside? Could you call again later, please? Could you call again later, please? Could you charge it to my room? Could you charge it to my room? Could you do this instead of me? Could you do this instead of me? Could you get in touch with him? Could you get in touch with him? Could you help me wash the dishes? Could you help me wash the dishes? Could you please clear the table? Could you please clear the table? Could you please move out of my way? Could you please move out of my way? Could you please take me back home? Could you please take me back home? Could you spare me a few minutes? Could you spare me a few minutes? Could you tell me how to get there? Could you tell me how to get there? Could you write it down, please? Could you write it down, please? Count the apples in the basket. Count the apples in the basket. Did anyone call me while I was out? Did anyone call me while I was out? Did Tom help his mother yesterday? Did Tom help his mother yesterday? Did you accomplish your goals? Did you accomplish your goals? Did you buy a round-trip ticket? Did you buy a round-trip ticket? Did you call him up yesterday? Did you call him up yesterday? Did you double-check these figures? Did you double-check these figures? Did you drive her home last night? Did you drive her home last night? Did you enjoy the party yesterday? Did you enjoy the party yesterday? Did you enjoy your winter holidays? Did you enjoy your winter holidays? Did you have breakfast this morning? Did you have breakfast this morning? Did you hear my show last night? Did you hear my show last night? Did you hear the news on the radio? Did you hear the news on the radio? Did you play baseball yesterday? Did you play baseball yesterday? Did you show it to your parents? Did you show it to your parents? Did you understand what he said? Did you understand what he said? Didn't you write a letter to him? Didn't you write a letter to him? Dinner is probably ready now. Dinner is probably ready now. Do I have to do it over again? Do I have to do it over again? Do I have to do it right away? Do I have to do it right away? Do I have to stay in the hospital? Do I have to stay in the hospital? Do I have to take this medicine? Do I have to take this medicine? Do we have anything I can snack on? Do we have anything I can snack on? Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in love at first sight? Do you commute to school by bus? Do you commute to school by bus? Do you feel birthdays are important? Do you feel birthdays are important? Do you feel giving gifts is important? Do you feel giving gifts is important? Do you feel like going swimming? Do you feel like going swimming? Do you get along with your boss? Do you get along with your boss? Do you go to school on Saturday? Do you go to school on Saturday? Do you have a problem with this? Do you have a problem with this? Do you have a table on the patio? Do you have a table on the patio? Do you have any books to read? Do you have any books to read? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you have any cheaper rooms? Do you have any cheaper rooms? Do you have any idea what time it is? Do you have any idea what time it is? Do you have any ideas about it? Do you have any ideas about it? Do you have any messages for me? Do you have any messages for me? Do you have any $1 bills? Do you have any $1 bills? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any traveler's checks? Do you have any traveler's checks? Do you have anything hot to drink? Do you have anything hot to drink? Do you have anything to declare? Do you have anything to declare? Do you have change for $1? Do you have change for $1? Do you have much money with you? Do you have much money with you? Do you have school on Saturdays? Do you have school on Saturdays? Do you have some good medicine? Do you have some good medicine? Do you have these shoes in my size? Do you have these shoes in my size? Do you know how to drive a car? Do you know how to drive a car? Do you know how to open this box? Do you know how to open this box? Do you know how to speak English? Do you know how to speak English? Do you know how to use a computer? Do you know how to use a computer? Do you know how to use this camera? Do you know how to use this camera? Do you know if he has a girlfriend? Do you know if he has a girlfriend? Do you know what your kids are eating? Do you know what your kids are eating? Do you know when he will come? Do you know when he will come? Do you know where your father went? Do you know where your father went? Do you know which way to take? Do you know which way to take? Do you know who took the call? Do you know who took the call? Do you know who wrote this novel? Do you know who wrote this novel? Do you know why she's so angry? Do you know why she's so angry? Do you like the new school better? Do you like the new school better? Do you mind if I turn down the TV? Do you mind if I turn down the TV? Do you mind if I turn on the radio? Do you mind if I turn on the radio? Do you often listen to audiobooks? Do you often listen to audiobooks? Do you plan to work until 10? Do you plan to work until 10? Do you really believe in ghosts? Do you really believe in ghosts? Do you really think it's no good? Do you really think it's no good? Do you remember buying me lunch? Do you remember buying me lunch? Do you see that house? It's mine. Do you see that house? It's mine. Do you see that house? That's my house. Do you see that house? That's my house. Do you sell advance tickets here? Do you sell advance tickets here? Do you spend much time writing email? Do you spend much time writing email? Do you think I should go alone? Do you think I should go alone? Do you think I should go by myself? Do you think I should go by myself? Do you think I'm made of money? Do you think I'm made of money? Do you think I'm too materialistic? Do you think I'm too materialistic? Do you think I'm wasting my time? Do you think I'm wasting my time? Do you think that dress suits her? Do you think that dress suits her? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Does anyone here speak Japanese? Does anyone here speak Japanese? Does anyone want some more pie? Does anyone want some more pie? Does he know that you love him? Does he know that you love him? Does this bus go to the beach? Does this bus go to the beach? Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't cry. Everything will be okay. Don't cry. Everything will be okay. Don't cut in while we're talking. Don't cut in while we're talking. Don't dwell on your past mistakes. Don't dwell on your past mistakes. Don't interrupt our conversation. Don't interrupt our conversation. Don't leave your stuff behind. Don't leave your stuff behind. Don't let her go out after dark. Don't let her go out after dark. Don't let opportunities pass by. Don't let opportunities pass by. Don't rely too much on others. Don't rely too much on others. Don't step on the broken glass. Don't step on the broken glass. Don't worry about what others say. Don't worry about what others say. Don't worry, you can count on me. Don't worry, you can count on me. Don't you have an air conditioner? Don't you have an air conditioner? Don't you want to go to the party? Don't you want to go to the party? Dr. Jackson has a good bedside manner. Dr. Jackson has a good bedside manner. Drivers should wear seat belts. Drivers should wear seat belts. Drunken driving is a serious problem. Drunken driving is a serious problem. Dust has accumulated on the desk. Dust has accumulated on the desk. Earthquakes frequently hit Japan. Earthquakes frequently hit Japan. Eat your soup before it gets cold. Eat your soup before it gets cold. Eating between meals is a bad habit. Eating between meals is a bad habit. Eating fish is good for your health. Eating fish is good for your health. 11 o'clock is good for me. 11 o'clock is good for me. English is difficult to learn. English is difficult to learn. English is not my native language. English is not my native language. Every door in the house is locked. Every door in the house is locked. Every time I go there, I meet her. Every time I go there, I meet her. Every town in America has a library. Every town in America has a library. Everybody was jealous of my success. Everybody was jealous of my success. Everyone always speaks well of Tom. Everyone always speaks well of Tom. Everyone thinks the same thing. Everyone thinks the same thing. Everything is all right at home. Everything is all right at home. For 3 weeks, he ate nothing at all. For 3 weeks, he ate nothing at all. Give me a glass of water, please. Give me a glass of water, please. Give me something to write on. Give me something to write on. Give me your telephone number. Give me your telephone number. Half the students were absent. Half the students were absent. Have both of you already eaten? Have both of you already eaten? Have you already eaten supper? Have you already eaten supper? Have you been told about the problem? Have you been told about the problem? Have you been told when to come? Have you been told when to come? Have you eaten your lunch yet? Have you eaten your lunch yet? Have you ever been to an opera? Have you ever been to an opera? Have you ever cheated on an exam? Have you ever cheated on an exam? Have you ever climbed Mount Fuji? Have you ever climbed Mount Fuji? Have you ever done any volunteer work? Have you ever done any volunteer work? Have you ever driven a sports car? Have you ever driven a sports car? Have you ever eaten Japanese food? Have you ever eaten Japanese food? Have you ever eaten whale meat? Have you ever eaten whale meat? Have you ever given money to a beggar? Have you ever given money to a beggar? Have you ever seen a car accident? Have you ever seen a car accident? Have you ever seen him swimming? Have you ever seen him swimming? Have you finished breakfast yet? Have you finished breakfast yet? Have you heard from him recently? Have you heard from him recently? Have you known her since 1990? Have you known her since 1990? Have you read this book already? Have you read this book already? Have you taken your medicine yet? Have you taken your medicine yet? He acted like he owned the place. He acted like he owned the place. He always sings in the shower. He always sings in the shower. He asked his friends for help. He asked his friends for help. He asked me to pass him the salt. He asked me to pass him the salt. He asked me to speak more slowly. He asked me to speak more slowly. He asked me what I had been doing. He asked me what I had been doing. He ate rice twice a day for many years. He ate rice twice a day for many years. He beat the odds and was successful. He beat the odds and was successful. He blames his failure on bad luck. He blames his failure on bad luck. He bought me a new dictionary. He bought me a new dictionary. He came in just as I was going out. He came in just as I was going out. He came in through the window. He came in through the window. He came to ask us for our help. He came to ask us for our help. He can't tell right from wrong. He can't tell right from wrong. He cannot have done such a thing. He cannot have done such a thing. He died when he was 54 years old. He died when he was 54 years old. He disappeared without a trace. He disappeared without a trace. He dropped in on me last night. He dropped in on me last night. He gets a haircut once a month. He gets a haircut once a month. He gets his hair cut once a month. He gets his hair cut once a month. He had no luck in finding work. He had no luck in finding work. He has a large family to support. He has a large family to support. He has no interest in politics. He has no interest in politics. He has the ability to do the job. He has the ability to do the job. He has the ability to do the work. He has the ability to do the work. He has trouble remembering names. He has trouble remembering names. He is actually not the manager. He is actually not the manager. He is lying through his teeth. He is lying through his teeth. He isn't actually the manager. He isn't actually the manager. He kindly answered the question. He kindly answered the question. He knocked on the closed door. He knocked on the closed door. He let the dog loose in the yard. He let the dog loose in the yard. He listened to music in his room. He listened to music in his room. He lives in a cozy little house. He lives in a cozy little house. He looks older than my brother. He looks older than my brother. He made up his mind right away. He made up his mind right away. He moved into my neighborhood. He moved into my neighborhood. He must have entered this room. He must have entered this room. He must have missed the train. He must have missed the train. He owes his success to good luck. He owes his success to good luck. He said he would pay for the dinner. He said he would pay for the dinner. He spent the evening reading a book. He spent the evening reading a book. He takes a bath every morning. He takes a bath every morning. He thought of a good solution. He thought of a good solution. He told me he was going to America. He told me he was going to America. He tried to get me to help him. He tried to get me to help him. He turned out to be her father. He turned out to be her father. He usually feeds his dog cheap dog food. He usually feeds his dog cheap dog food. He was a great influence on me. He was a great influence on me. He was absent from the meeting. He was absent from the meeting. He was born on July 28, 1888. He was born on July 28, 1888. He was exhausted when he got home. He was exhausted when he got home. He was tired, but he kept working. He was tired, but he kept working. He will be here in half an hour. He will be here in half an hour. He worked from morning till night. He worked from morning till night. He'll be along in 10 minutes. He'll be along in 10 minutes. He'll finish the job by tomorrow. He'll finish the job by tomorrow. He's about the same age as you are. He's about the same age as you are. He's better at the piano than I am. He's better at the piano than I am. He's good at this sort of thing. He's good at this sort of thing. He's had many unhappy experiences. He's had many unhappy experiences. He's just like his grandfather. He's just like his grandfather. He's not good at remembering names. He's not good at remembering names. He's worried that he might be late. He's worried that he might be late. Help yourself to these cookies. Help yourself to these cookies. Her daughter can recite many poems. Her daughter can recite many poems. Her red dress made her stand out. Her red dress made her stand out. His advice didn't help at all. His advice didn't help at all. His grandmother looks healthy. His grandmother looks healthy. His house is across from mine. His house is across from mine. His new movie is disappointing. His new movie is disappointing. Hold the vase with both hands. Hold the vase with both hands. How about another piece of cake? How about another piece of cake? How about making me a cup of tea? How about making me a cup of tea? How can I get in touch with you? How can I get in touch with you? How can I get to the police station? How can I get to the police station? How can I tell if I'm really in love? How can I tell if I'm really in love? How did you come by this painting? How did you come by this painting? How did you get to know about her? How did you get to know about her? How did you learn about that news? How did you learn about that news? How did you pay for this computer? How did you pay for this computer? How did you solve the problem? How did you solve the problem? How did you spend your free time? How did you spend your free time? How did you spend your vacation? How did you spend your vacation? How do I get my dog to eat dog food? How do I get my dog to eat dog food? How do you assess your students? How do you assess your students? How do you feel about the issue? How do you feel about the issue? How do you like your beef stew? How do you like your beef stew? How do you like your eggs done? How do you like your eggs done? How do you like your new class? How do you like your new class? How do you like your new school? How do you like your new school? How do you say that in Italian? How do you say that in Italian? How do you spell your last name? How do you spell your last name? How do you usually decide what to eat? How do you usually decide what to eat? How do you want your hair cut? How do you want your hair cut? How long can I keep this book? How long can I keep this book? How long can you hold your breath? How long can you hold your breath? How long do I have to stay here? How long do I have to stay here? How long does it take on foot? How long does it take on foot? How long have you two been together? How long have you two been together? How long will it take to get there? How long will it take to get there? How long will we have to wait? How long will we have to wait? How many books do you read a month? How many books do you read a month? How many cars have you owned so far? How many cars have you owned so far? How many children do you have? How many children do you have? How many computers have you had so far? How many computers have you had so far? How many cruises are there each day? How many cruises are there each day? How much do you feed your dog? How much do you feed your dog? How much is the rent per month? How much is the rent per month? How much more work do you have? How much more work do you have? How much should I be feeding my dog? How much should I be feeding my dog? How much should I feed my dog? How much should I feed my dog? How much should my daughter be eating? How much should my daughter be eating? How much time do you spend on Facebook? How much time do you spend on Facebook? Nice to see you again, Tom. Nice to see you again, Tom. How often should I feed my dog? How often should I feed my dog? How old will you be next year? How old will you be next year? How soon will the meeting begin? How soon will the meeting begin? How would you like to have your steak done? How would you like to have your steak done? I accompanied her on the piano. I accompanied her on the piano. I accompanied him on the trip. I accompanied him on the trip. I admire you for your courage. I admire you for your courage. I advised her to come by 9 o'clock. I advised her to come by 9 o'clock. I advised him to come back at once. I advised him to come back at once. I advised him to give up smoking. I advised him to give up smoking. I agree with him on that point. I agree with him on that point. I agree with you on this point. I agree with you on this point. I agree with you to some extent. I agree with you to some extent. I agreed to help him in his work. I agreed to help him in his work. I agreed with him on that point. I agreed with him on that point. I am a member of the basketball team. I am a member of the basketball team. I am able to swim across the river. I am able to swim across the river. I am accustomed to cold weather. I am accustomed to cold weather. I am accustomed to living alone. I am accustomed to living alone. I am accustomed to staying up late. I am accustomed to staying up late. I am accustomed to working hard. I am accustomed to working hard. I am acquainted with the author. I am acquainted with the author. I am afraid he will make a mistake. I am afraid he will make a mistake. I am afraid I ate something bad. I am afraid I ate something bad. I am doubtful whether he will come. I am doubtful whether he will come. I am familiar with this subject. I am familiar with this subject. I am glad that you have succeeded. I am glad that you have succeeded. I am going to a concert next week. I am going to a concert next week. I'm happy to hear your voice. I'm happy to hear your voice. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I am never at home on Sundays. I am never at home on Sundays. I am not about to pay $10. I am not about to pay $10. I am not always at home on Sundays. I am not always at home on Sundays. I am not always free on Sundays. I am not always free on Sundays. I am not the person I used to be. I am not the person I used to be. I am on speaking terms with Tom. I am on speaking terms with Tom. I am supposed to meet him at 4. I am supposed to meet him at 4. I am sure that he is an honest man. I am sure that he is an honest man. I am the happiest man on earth. I am the happiest man on earth. I am the tallest in our class. I am the tallest in our class. I am thinking about my children. I am thinking about my children. I am thinking about that matter. I am thinking about that matter. I am thinking of going abroad. I am thinking of going abroad. I am very tired from the hard work. I am very tired from the hard work. I am waiting for the store to open. I am waiting for the store to open. I apologize if I hurt your feelings. I apologize if I hurt your feelings. I arrived ahead of the others. I arrived ahead of the others. I arrived here about 5 o'clock. I arrived here about 5 o'clock. I asked him if he knew her address. I asked him if he knew her address. I asked him if he knew my name. I asked him if he knew my name. I asked him if he wanted a watch. I asked him if he wanted a watch. I asked him if he would help me. I asked him if he would help me. I asked him not to drive so fast. I asked him not to drive so fast. I asked him to lend me some money. I asked him to lend me some money. I asked him where he was going. I asked him where he was going. I asked my teacher what to do next. I asked my teacher what to do next. I asked Tom about his new book. I asked Tom about his new book. I asked Tom to close the door. I asked Tom to close the door. I ate a burger, then went to bed. I ate a burger, then went to bed. I borrowed this book from him. I borrowed this book from him. I bought a new sewing machine. I bought a new sewing machine. I bought a pen, but I lost it. I bought a pen, but I lost it. I bought this book the other day. I bought this book the other day. I bought 2 pairs of trousers. I bought 2 pairs of trousers. I burned my hand with an iron. I burned my hand with an iron. I called him a coward to his face. I called him a coward to his face. I can afford one, but not both. I can afford one, but not both. I can drive a car, but Tom can't. I can drive a car, but Tom can't. I can see a ship in the distance. I can see a ship in the distance. I can walk at least 2 miles. I can walk at least 2 miles. I can walk to school in 10 minutes. 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 I can't afford the time to travel. I can't afford the time to travel. I can't afford to buy a new car. I can't afford to buy a new car. I can't feel at home in a hotel. I can't feel at home in a hotel. I can't figure out why he said so. I can't figure out why he said so. I can't get away from work now. 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 I can't get away from work now I can't get away from work now. I can't get in touch with him yet. I can't get in touch with him yet. I can't hide the fact from you. I can't hide the fact from you. I can't live that kind of life. I can't live that kind of life. I can't play tennis as well as Tom. I can't play tennis as well as Tom. I can't put up with her any longer. I can't put up with her any longer. I can't put up with him any longer. I can't put up with him any longer. I can't put up with that noise. I can't put up with that noise. I can't sing as well as Mary did. I can't sing as well as Mary did. I can't stand this hot weather. I can't stand this hot weather. I can't stay long. I have plans. I can't stay long. I have plans. I can't tell you how to do that. I can't tell you how to do that. I can't tell you what an honor this is. I can't tell you what an honor this is. I can't think of his name just now. I can't think of his name just now. I can't understand his feelings. I can't understand his feelings. I can't wait to go on vacation. I can't wait to go on vacation. I carried the heavy bag on my back. I carried the heavy bag on my back. I caught a bad cold last week. I caught a bad cold last week. I caught a beautiful butterfly. I caught a beautiful butterfly. I caught a big fish yesterday. I caught a big fish yesterday. I caught a glimpse of her face. I caught a glimpse of her face. I caught him stealing the money. I caught him stealing the money. I caught 3 fish yesterday. I caught 3 fish yesterday. I changed my address last month. I changed my address last month. I climbed to the top of Mount Fuji. I climbed to the top of Mount Fuji. I could hardly endure the pain. I could hardly endure the pain. I could hardly understand him. I could hardly understand him. I could scarcely stand on my feet. I could scarcely stand on my feet. I could swim well when I was a boy. I could swim well when I was a boy. I couldn't help falling asleep. I couldn't help falling asleep. I couldn't stand looking at it. I couldn't stand looking at it. I did it the way he told me to. I did it the way he told me to. I didn't eat dinner last night. I didn't eat dinner last night. I didn't enjoy the party at all. I didn't enjoy the party at all. I didn't go to school yesterday. I didn't go to school yesterday. I didn't have the sense to do so. I didn't have the sense to do so. I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't need to paint the fence. I didn't need to paint the fence. I didn't say it wasn't okay to eat. I didn't say it wasn't okay to eat. I do work related to computers. I do work related to computers. I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't care if it's a bit cold. I don't care if it's a bit cold. I don't feed my dog in the morning. I don't feed my dog in the morning. I don't feel like working today. I don't feel like working today. I don't get along with that guy. I don't get along with that guy. I don't go to school on Sunday. I don't go to school on Sunday. I don't know if I still have it. I don't know if I still have it. I don't know what Mary is looking for. I don't know what Mary is looking for. I don't know what plan he will try. I don't know what plan he will try. I don't know what to feed my dog. I don't know what to feed my dog. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know when Tom will leave Japan. I don't know when Tom will leave Japan. I don't know who made the cake. I don't know who made the cake. I don't like being made a fool of. I don't like being made a fool of. I don't like your taste in color. I don't like your taste in color. I don't mind getting up at 6. I don't mind getting up at 6. I don't mind walking in the rain. I don't mind walking in the rain. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't quite know how it happened. I don't quite know how it happened. I don't remember agreeing to that. I don't remember agreeing to that. I don't shampoo my hair in the morning. I don't shampoo my hair in the morning. I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should do that. I don't understand German at all. I don't understand German at all. I don't want to do anything risky. I don't want to do anything risky. I don't want to fail my exams. I don't want to fail my exams. I don't want to lose this match. I don't want to lose this match. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want you eating between meals. I don't want you eating between meals. I doubt that Tom will get here on time. I doubt that Tom will get here on time. I expect that he will help us. I expect that he will help us. I expect that Tom will pass the exam. I expect that Tom will pass the exam. I feed my dog just before I eat dinner. I feed my dog just before I eat dinner. I feel like taking a bath now. I feel like taking a bath now. I felt a sudden pain in my side. I felt a sudden pain in my side. I felt that I should help her. I felt that I should help her. I finally came up with a great idea. I finally came up with a great idea. I finally got across the river. I finally got across the river. I forget your telephone number. I forget your telephone number. I forgot that I met her last month. I forgot that I met her last month. I forgot to telephone him today. I forgot to telephone him today. I found it easy to answer the question. I found it easy to answer the question. I found it necessary to ask for help. I found it necessary to ask for help. I found it necessary to get a loan. I found it necessary to get a loan. I found it necessary to get assistance. I found it necessary to get assistance. I found the book very interesting. I found the book very interesting. I found the key underneath the mat. I found the key underneath the mat. I found the subject fascinating. I found the subject fascinating. I gave her all the money I had. I gave her all the money I had. I gave my seat to the old lady. I gave my seat to the old lady. I get up at 6 almost every day. I get up at 6 almost every day. I get up at 6 in the morning. I get up at 6 in the morning. I glanced through the brochure. I glanced through the brochure. I go for a walk every other day. I go for a walk every other day. I go shopping every other day. I go shopping every other day. I go to any party I'm invited to. I go to any party I'm invited to. I go to the movies once a month. I go to the movies once a month. I go to work every day by train. I go to work every day by train. I got a fishbone stuck in my throat. I got a fishbone stuck in my throat. I got a lot of mail this morning. I got a lot of mail this morning. I got acquainted with her in France. I got acquainted with her in France. I got my son to repair the door. I got my son to repair the door. I got over it. You should too. I got over it. You should too. I got the money back from him. I got the money back from him. I got tired of lying in bed all day. I got tired of lying in bed all day. I got up at 6:30 this morning. I got up at 6:30 this morning. I grew up eating Japanese food. I grew up eating Japanese food. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I guess you'll need some help. I guess you'll need some help. I had a dream about you last night. I had a dream about you last night. I had a good time at the party. I had a good time at the party. I had a good time during the trip. I had a good time during the trip. I had a strange dream last night. I had a strange dream last night. I had him paint the gate last week. I had him paint the gate last week. I had my bicycle fixed yesterday. I had my bicycle fixed yesterday. I had my pocket picked on the train. I had my pocket picked on the train. I had my wallet stolen on the bus. I had my wallet stolen on the bus. I had the gardener plant some trees. I had the gardener plant some trees. I had to postpone my appointment. I had to postpone my appointment. I had to run to catch up with Tom. I had to run to catch up with Tom. I had to take care of her baby. I had to take care of her baby. I have a bad pain in my lower back. I have a bad pain in my lower back. I have a fever and I ache all over. I have a fever and I ache all over. I have a friend living in London. I have a friend living in London. I have a great deal to do today. I have a great deal to do today. I have a great deal to do tonight. I have a great deal to do tonight. I have a hunch that it will rain. I have a hunch that it will rain. I have a lot of friends to help me. I have a lot of friends to help me. I have a lot of homework to do. I have a lot of homework to do. I have a lot of things to do today. I have a lot of things to do today. I have a lot of things to tell you. I have a lot of things to tell you. I have a nice present to give you. I have a nice present to give you. I have a previous engagement at 10. I have a previous engagement at 10. I have a slight pain in my side. I have a slight pain in my side. I have a sore throat and a runny nose. I have a sore throat and a runny nose. I have already changed my clothes. I have already changed my clothes. I have been a teacher for 15 years. I have been a teacher for 15 years. I have just been to the post office. I have just been to the post office. I have just finished my homework. I have just finished my homework. I have just washed all the dishes. I have just washed all the dishes. I have many coins in this box. I have many coins in this box. I have never fed my dog a banana. I have never fed my dog a banana. I have no idea what to do next. I have no idea what to do next. I have no one to turn to for advice. I have no one to turn to for advice. I have not heard from her recently. I have not heard from her recently. I have nothing in common with him. I have nothing in common with him. I have only 5,000 yen. I have only 5,000 yen. I have plenty of time to do that. I have plenty of time to do that. I have some work to do this evening. I have some work to do this evening. I have to be back home by 7. I have to be back home by 7. I have to buy a new pair of skis. I have to buy a new pair of skis. I have to find a part-time job. I have to find a part-time job. I have to go even if it rains. I have to go even if it rains. I have to go to the police station. I have to go to the police station. I haven't seen him for a long time. I haven't seen him for a long time. I haven't seen Tom since 1988. I haven't seen Tom since 1988. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you in a long time. I haven't seen you for a while. I haven't seen you for a while. I hear from him every now and then. I hear from him every now and then. I hear from my friend every year. I hear from my friend every year. I hear from my mother every month. I hear from my mother every month. I hear that his father is abroad. I hear that his father is abroad. I hear that she's a famous actress. I hear that she's a famous actress. I hear you are good at cooking. I hear you are good at cooking. I heard a young girl call for help. I heard a young girl call for help. I heard him coming downstairs. I heard him coming downstairs. I heard him go down the stairs. I heard him go down the stairs. I helped him with his homework. I helped him with his homework. I hope it does not rain tomorrow. I hope it does not rain tomorrow. I hope your wish will come true. I hope your wish will come true. I hope your wishes will come true. I hope your wishes will come true. I hung my coat in the hall closet. I hung my coat in the hall closet. I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. I just dropped in to say goodbye. I just dropped in to say goodbye. I just want someone to talk to. I just want someone to talk to. I just wanted to check my email. I just wanted to check my email. I keep my hammer in the toolbox. I keep my hammer in the toolbox. I know some students in that school. I know some students in that school. I know that he went to London. I know that he went to London. I know that I don't deserve you. I know that I don't deserve you. I know that she has been busy. I know that she has been busy. I know that you did your best. I know that you did your best. I know you've been avoiding me. I know you've been avoiding me. I know your brother very well. I know your brother very well. I learned to live without her. I learned to live without her. I left my address book in my room. I left my address book in my room. I left my gloves in the library. I left my gloves in the library. I left part of the meal uneaten. I left part of the meal uneaten. I left the rest to him and went out. I left the rest to him and went out. I let the cat out of the house. I let the cat out of the house. I liked the simplicity of her dress. I liked the simplicity of her dress. I like this coat. May I try it on? I like this coat. May I try it on? I like white wine better than red wine. I like white wine better than red wine. I live in this house by myself. I live in this house by myself. I lived overseas for 10 years. I lived overseas for 10 years. I look forward to my birthday. I look forward to my birthday. I look forward to seeing you again. I look forward to seeing you again. I lost my ticket. What should I do? I lost my ticket. What should I do? I made some mistakes on the test. I made some mistakes on the test. I made this doghouse by myself. I made this doghouse by myself. I made up my mind to go there. I made up my mind to go there. I made up my mind to study harder. I made up my mind to study harder. I met an old man near the station. I met an old man near the station. I met her on my way to school. I met her on my way to school. I met him while he was in Japan. I met him while he was in Japan. I met Tom in front of the store. I met Tom in front of the store. I met Tom on my way to school. I met Tom on my way to school. I might be a few minutes late. I might be a few minutes late. I must buy a new suit for my son. I must buy a new suit for my son. I must prepare their breakfast. I must prepare their breakfast. I need a bag. Will you lend me one? I need a bag. Will you lend me one? I need to get something to eat. I need to get something to eat. I never felt this way before I met you. I never felt this way before I met you. I never imagined anything like this. I never imagined anything like this. I never imagined he'd do that to me. I never imagined he'd do that to me. I never imagined we'd end up like this. I never imagined we'd end up like this. I never let anyone else feed my dog. I never let anyone else feed my dog. I never thought we'd end up like this. I never thought we'd end up like this. I noticed she was wearing a new hat. I noticed she was wearing a new hat. I noticed that he had stopped. I noticed that he had stopped. I offered to lend money to her. I offered to lend money to her. I often catch colds in the winter. I often catch colds in the winter. I often refer to the dictionary. I often refer to the dictionary. I often talk to him on the bus. I often talk to him on the bus. I only feed my dog dry dog food. I only feed my dog dry dog food. I ought to go there, but I won't. I ought to go there, but I won't. I pay 2,000 yen for this atlas. I pay 2,000 yen for this atlas. I passed the exam, and so did Tom. I passed the exam, and so did Tom. I persuaded him to go to the party. I persuaded him to go to the party. I phoned Mary, but the line was busy. I phoned Mary, but the line was busy. I plan to get a job as soon as I can. I plan to get a job as soon as I can. I play the guitar in my spare time. I play the guitar in my spare time. I poured water into the bucket. I poured water into the bucket. I promise you I won't ever leave you. I promise you I won't ever leave you. I promise you I'll come early. I promise you I'll come early. I promise you I'll keep you safe. I promise you I'll keep you safe. I promise you I'll look after you. I promise you I'll look after you. I promise you I'll never leave you. I promise you I'll never leave you. I promised him to keep it secret. I promised him to keep it secret. I put some cream in my coffee. I put some cream in my coffee. I raised my hand to ask a question. I raised my hand to ask a question. I ran all the way to the station. I ran all the way to the station. I ran into Mary at a party last week. I ran into Mary at a party last week. I ran into Mary at the party last week. I ran into Mary at the party last week. I read about him in the newspaper. I read about him in the newspaper. I read the book from cover to cover. I read the book from cover to cover. I received her letter the other day. I received her letter the other day. I recognized Mary the moment I saw her. I recognized Mary the moment I saw her. I refused to answer the question. I refused to answer the question. I refuse to be ignored any longer. I refuse to be ignored any longer. I relaxed at home last Sunday. I relaxed at home last Sunday. I returned the book to the library. I returned the book to the library. I said I would make her happy. I said I would make her happy. I said nothing about the matter. I said nothing about the matter. I sat in the front of the bus. I sat in the front of the bus. I saw a boy crossing the street. I saw a boy crossing the street. I saw a dog swim across the river. I saw a dog swim across the river. I saw a house with a red roof. I saw a house with a red roof. I saw a stranger enter that house. I saw a stranger enter that house. I saw a white bird on my way home. I saw a white bird on my way home. I saw my mother hide the cake. I saw my mother hide the cake. I saw my sister tear up the letter. I saw my sister tear up the letter. I seem to have caught a bad cold. I seem to have caught a bad cold. I seem to have the wrong number. I seem to have the wrong number. I should go home and get some sleep. I should go home and get some sleep. I should have listened more carefully. I should have listened more carefully. I should have taken the money. I should have taken the money. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone there by myself. I shouldn't have gone there by myself. I shouldn't have gotten up so early. I shouldn't have gotten up so early. I shouldn't have sent that email. I shouldn't have sent that email. I shouldn't have stayed up all night. I shouldn't have stayed up all night. I shouldn't have to do that again. I shouldn't have to do that again. I slept 12 hours yesterday. I slept 12 hours yesterday. I spent last Sunday reading a novel. I spent last Sunday reading a novel. I spent the weekend with my friends. I spent the weekend with my friends. I still have a lot of work to do. I still have a lot of work to do. I still love the way you smile at me. I still love the way you smile at me. I stopped smoking and drinking. I stopped smoking and drinking. I suggested that we go fishing. I suggested that we go fishing. I support you wholeheartedly. I support you wholeheartedly. I talked to her on the telephone. I talked to her on the telephone. I talked with her for an hour. I talked with her for an hour. I think he will be glad to see you. I think he will be glad to see you. I think I'm in trouble with my wife. I think I'm in trouble with my wife. I think it's time for me to come clean. I think it's time for me to come clean. I think it's time for me to get a dog. I think it's time for me to get a dog. I think it's time for me to get a job. I think it's time for me to get a job. I think it's time for me to go to bed. I think it's time for me to go to bed. I think it's time for me to go. I think it's time for me to go. I think it's time for me to leave now. I think it's time for me to leave now. I think it's time for me to leave. I think it's time for me to leave. I think it's time for me to move on. I think it's time for me to move on. I think it's time for me to retire. I think it's time for me to retire. I think it's time for me to shove off. I think it's time for me to shove off. I think it's time for me to speak up. I think it's time for me to speak up. I think it's time for me to split. I think it's time for me to split. I think it's time for me to step aside. I think it's time for me to step aside. I think it's time for me to study. I think it's time for me to study. I think my German isn't very good. I think my German isn't very good. I think that Tom hasn't left yet. I think that Tom hasn't left yet. I think that we should try again. I think that we should try again. I think the train will come soon. I think the train will come soon. I think this book is worth reading. I think this book is worth reading. I think we'll make it if we hurry. I think we'll make it if we hurry. I think you've got what I need. I think you've got what I need. I thought doing this would be easy. I thought doing this would be easy. I thought you had to get up by 7:30. I thought you had to get up by 7:30. I took on the job of proofreading. I took on the job of proofreading. I took the children to school. I took the children to school. I tried to listen to him carefully. I tried to listen to him carefully. I tried to write with my left hand. I tried to write with my left hand. I tried writing with my left hand. I tried writing with my left hand. I used to feed my dog twice a day. I used to feed my dog twice a day. I usually go to school by bus. I usually go to school by bus. I usually have a light breakfast. I usually have a light breakfast. I usually take a bath after dinner. I usually take a bath after dinner. I visited my friend Tom yesterday. I visited my friend Tom yesterday. I visited my grandmother's house. I visited my grandmother's house. I waited until the last minute. I waited until the last minute. I walked in the woods by myself. I walked in the woods by myself. I want more detailed information. I want more detailed information. I want something cold to drink. I want something cold to drink. I want something hot to drink. I want something hot to drink. I want something sweet to eat. I want something sweet to eat. I want to ask you a big favor. I want to ask you a big favor. I want to be a pilot in the future. I want to be a pilot in the future. I want to buy a pair of ski boots. I want to buy a pair of ski boots. I want to climb Mount Fuji again. I want to climb Mount Fuji again. I want to drink something cold. I want to drink something cold. I want to finish this work by 5. I want to finish this work by 5. I want to get in touch with him. I want to get in touch with him. I want to go to America someday. I want to go to America someday. I want to see my friends in Canada. I want to see my friends in Canada. I want to see the movie again. I want to see the movie again. I want to sleep a little longer. I want to sleep a little longer. I want to sleep a little more. I want to sleep a little more. I want to talk to him about it. I want to talk to him about it. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to tell me the truth. I was able to answer all the questions. I was able to answer all the questions. I was allowed to take a week off. I was allowed to take a week off. I was almost run over by a car. I was almost run over by a car. I was asked to give you a message. I was asked to give you a message. I was convinced by his explanation. I was convinced by his explanation. I was convinced that he was guilty. I was convinced that he was guilty. I was deeply moved by his speech. I was deeply moved by his speech. I was delayed by a traffic jam. I was delayed by a traffic jam. I was glad to hear of your success. I was glad to hear of your success. I was in London most of the summer. I was in London most of the summer. I was in New York for a few days. I was in New York for a few days. I was injured while I was skiing. I was injured while I was skiing. I was kicked out of high school. I was kicked out of high school. I was looking at old pictures. I was looking at old pictures. I was moved to tears by the story. I was moved to tears by the story. I was out of town on vacation. I was out of town on vacation. I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. I was told to wait for a while. I was told to wait for a while. I was too tired to go on working. I was too tired to go on working. I was too tired to walk anymore. I was too tired to walk anymore. I was very glad to hear the news. I was very glad to hear the news. I was very surprised at the news. I was very surprised at the news. I was wearing my best clothes. I was wearing my best clothes. I watched television all day long. I watched television all day long. I went camping with my family. I went camping with my family. I went for a drive in the country. I went for a drive in the country. I went for a walk in the park. I went for a walk in the park. I went for a walk with my son. I went for a walk with my son. I went there because I wanted to. I went there because I wanted to. I went there by bus and train. I went there by bus and train. I went to bed at 12 last night. I went to bed at 12 last night. I went to the airport by taxi. I went to the airport by taxi. I went to the park with Mary yesterday. I went to the park with Mary yesterday. I will ask him about it tomorrow. I will ask him about it tomorrow. I will finish my homework by 9. I will finish my homework by 9. I will go there even if it rains. I will go there even if it rains. I will go to New York next week. I will go to New York next week. I will pick him up at the station. I will pick him up at the station. I will pick you up around 6. I will pick you up around 6. I will play tennis this afternoon. I will play tennis this afternoon. I will see him after I get back. I will see him after I get back. I will show you around the city. I will show you around the city. I will show you some pictures. I will show you some pictures. I will wait here till he comes. I will wait here till he comes. I wish he had attended the meeting. I wish he had attended the meeting. I wish he would write more often. I wish he would write more often. I wish I could be in Paris now. I wish I could be in Paris now. I wish I could buy that guitar. I wish I could buy that guitar. I wish I could go to the concert. I wish I could go to the concert. I wish I had a reason not to go. I wish I had a reason not to go. I wish I had a room of my own. I wish I had a room of my own. I wish I had been there with you. I wish I had been there with you. I wish I had been with her then. I wish I had been with her then. I wish I had had a camera then. I wish I had had a camera then. I wish I were as young as you. I wish I were as young as you. I wish to visit Egypt someday. I wish to visit Egypt someday. I wish Tom were my younger brother. I wish Tom were my younger brother. I wish you could have come with me. I wish you could have come with me. I wonder if it will rain tomorrow. I wonder if it will rain tomorrow. I wonder if the weather will hold. I wonder if the weather will hold. I wonder if they'll get divorced. I wonder if they'll get divorced. I wonder who started that rumor. I wonder who started that rumor. I would like something to read. I would like something to read. I would like you to come with me. I would like you to come with me. I would rather starve than steal. I would rather starve than steal. I wouldn't do it if I were you. I wouldn't do it if I were you. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I write to my mother once a month. I write to my mother once a month. I'd like to go to France sometime. I'd like to go to France sometime. I'd like to have a glass of wine. I'd like to have a glass of wine. I'd like to know the exact time. I'd like to know the exact time. I'd like to open a savings account. I'd like to open a savings account. I'd like to reconfirm my flight. I'd like to reconfirm my flight. I'd like to rent a compact car. I'd like to rent a compact car. I'd like to sail around the world. I'd like to sail around the world. I'd like to stay for one night. I'd like to stay for one night. I'd like you to look after my dog. I'd like you to look after my dog. I'd like you to meet my brother Tom. I'd like you to meet my brother Tom. I'd rather walk than take a bus. I'd rather walk than take a bus. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll be seeing Mary this afternoon. I'll be seeing Mary this afternoon. I'll be staying here for a week. I'll be staying here for a week. I'll be with you in a few minutes. I'll be with you in a few minutes. I'll bring it to you tomorrow. I'll bring it to you tomorrow. I'll bring my sister to the party. I'll bring my sister to the party. I'll carry this suitcase for you. I'll carry this suitcase for you. I'll forgive you just this once. I'll forgive you just this once. I'll have to find a part-time job. I'll have to find a part-time job. I'll help you as much as I can. I'll help you as much as I can. I'll never forget this experience. I'll never forget this experience. I'll never forget your kindness. I'll never forget your kindness. I'll see you a week from today. I'll see you a week from today. I'll see you again this afternoon. I'll see you again this afternoon. I'll show you around the city. I'll show you around the city. I'll show you around the town. I'll show you around the town. I'll show you how to catch a fish. I'll show you how to catch a fish. I'll show you that I am right. I'll show you that I am right. I'll show you the car I've just bought. I'll show you the car I've just bought. I'll wait another 5 minutes. I'll wait another 5 minutes. I'll wait here till he comes back. I'll wait here till he comes back. I'm about to tell you the answer. I'm about to tell you the answer. I'm afraid it may rain tomorrow. I'm afraid it may rain tomorrow. I'm afraid she may have the mumps. I'm afraid she may have the mumps. I'm afraid we don't have any left. I'm afraid we don't have any left. I'm afraid we'll lose the game. I'm afraid we'll lose the game. I'm afraid you misunderstood me. I'm afraid you misunderstood me. I'm busy preparing for the trip. I'm busy preparing for the trip. I'm dying for a cup of coffee. I'm dying for a cup of coffee. I'm expecting a customer today. I'm expecting a customer today. I'm expecting a letter from her. I'm expecting a letter from her. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'm going to see Mary this afternoon. I'm going to see Mary this afternoon. I'm good at playing the piano. I'm good at playing the piano. I'm just a regular office worker. I'm just a regular office worker. I'm leaving for Canada tomorrow. I'm leaving for Canada tomorrow. I'm leaving town for a few days. I'm leaving town for a few days. I'm looking for a bag for my wife. I'm looking for a bag for my wife. I'm looking for a gift for my wife. I'm looking for a gift for my wife. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to the party. I'm looking forward to the party. I'm not a doctor, but a teacher. I'm not a doctor, but a teacher. I'm not as healthy as I used to be. I'm not as healthy as I used to be. I'm not going to see you again. I'm not going to see you again. I'm not in favor of such a plan. I'm not in favor of such a plan. I'm not responsible for what Tom did. I'm not responsible for what Tom did. I'm satisfied with everything. I'm satisfied with everything. I'm saving money for my old age. I'm saving money for my old age. I'm saving up to buy a new car. I'm saving up to buy a new car. I'm sick and tired of hamburgers. I'm sick and tired of hamburgers. I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. I'm so hungry that I could eat a horse. I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. I'm still waiting for my order. I'm still waiting for my order. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I'm taking tomorrow afternoon off. I'm taking tomorrow afternoon off. I am the tallest one in the class. I am the tallest one in the class. I'm tired of eating fast food. I'm tired of eating fast food. I'm tired of him bawling me out. I'm tired of him bawling me out. I'm tired of watching television. I'm tired of watching television. I'm used to cooking for myself. I'm used to cooking for myself. I'm used to working all night. I'm used to working all night. I'm very busy, so don't count on me. I'm very busy, so don't count on me. I've always wanted to meet you. I've always wanted to meet you. I've been to Australia 3 times. I've been to Australia 3 times. I've got a bad case of jet lag. I've got a bad case of jet lag. I've got as much money as he has. I've got as much money as he has. I've had a lot of calls today. I've had a lot of calls today. I've never flown in an airplane. I've never flown in an airplane. I've never heard of such a thing. I've never heard of such a thing. I've never heard of that city. I've never heard of that city. I've never seen a whale that big. I've never seen a whale that big. I've never seen him wearing jeans. I've never seen him wearing jeans. If I had money, I could buy it. If I had money, I could buy it. If I were rich, I would go abroad. If I were rich, I would go abroad. If I were you, I would trust her. If I were you, I would trust her. If I were you, I'd buy that one. If I were you, I'd buy that one. In spite of the rain, I went out. In spite of the rain, I went out. Is it all right to eat out tonight? Is it all right to eat out tonight? Is it okay to feed my dog lettuce? Is it okay to feed my dog lettuce? Is it safe to swim in this river? Is it safe to swim in this river? Is that what you have in mind? Is that what you have in mind? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a golf course near here? Is there a golf course near here? Is there a post office around here? Is there a post office around here? Is there anything else you'd like? Is there anything else you'd like? Is there anything I can do for you? Is there anything I can do for you? Is this the bus for Park Ridge? Is this the bus for Park Ridge? Is this your first time in Japan? Is this your first time in Japan? It began to rain before I got home. It began to rain before I got home. It cost $300 to get the car fixed. It cost $300 to get the car fixed. It has been cold since yesterday. It has been cold since yesterday. It has been raining since Sunday. It has been raining since Sunday. It is a lot of fun to drive a car. It is a lot of fun to drive a car. It is clear that he is guilty. It is clear that he is guilty. It is clear what must be done. It is clear what must be done. It is likely to be fine tomorrow. It is likely to be fine tomorrow. It is never too late to learn. It is never too late to learn. It is no use asking him again. It is no use asking him again. It is no use asking me for money. It is no use asking me for money. It is not as good as it looks. It is not as good as it looks. It is raining worse than ever. It is raining worse than ever. It is really quite a good story. It is really quite a good story. It is 10 degrees below zero now. It is 10 degrees below zero now. It is 10 minutes before 11. It is 10 minutes before 11. It is this window that he broke. It is this window that he broke. It is too expensive for me to buy. It is too expensive for me to buy. It is 20 minutes past 10. It is 20 minutes past 10. It looks like Tom won the race. It looks like Tom won the race. It may possibly be fine tomorrow. It may possibly be fine tomorrow. It rained hard yesterday morning. It rained hard yesterday morning. It rains a lot in June in Japan. It rains a lot in June in Japan. It seems obvious that he is sick. It seems obvious that he is sick. It took all night to climb Mount Fuji. It took all night to climb Mount Fuji. It turned out that I was right. It turned out that I was right. It was a one-sided love affair. It was a one-sided love affair. It was cold, so we lit a fire. It was cold, so we lit a fire. It was fun playing in the park. It was fun playing in the park. It was getting louder and louder. It was getting louder and louder. It was his bicycle that was stolen. It was his bicycle that was stolen. It was his job to gather eggs. It was his job to gather eggs. It was not very cold yesterday. It was not very cold yesterday. It was quite dark when I got home. It was quite dark when I got home. It was Tom that saved the girl. It was Tom that saved the girl. It was yesterday that he died. It was yesterday that he died. It's about time to go to school. It's about time to go to school. It's about time we went to bed. It's about time we went to bed. It's almost time to go to bed. It's almost time to go to bed. It's been raining since morning. It's been raining since morning. It's fun to ride a motorcycle. It's fun to ride a motorcycle. It's no use asking him for help. It's no use asking him for help. It's not worth reading any further. It's not worth reading any further. Japan is not as large as Canada. Japan is not as large as Canada. John belongs to the swimming club. John belongs to the swimming club. John came running into the room. John came running into the room. John inherited a large fortune. John inherited a large fortune. John met Mary on his way to school. John met Mary on his way to school. Keep your room as neat as you can. Keep your room as neat as you can. Lend him as much money as he needs. Lend him as much money as he needs. Let me help you put on your coat. Let me help you put on your coat. Let me help you with your baggage. Let me help you with your baggage. Let me introduce my parents to you. Let me introduce my parents to you. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know what you're up to. Let's begin with the first chapter. Let's begin with the first chapter. Let's get together again next year. Let's get together again next year. Let's go to a concert together. Let's go to a concert together. Let's have a 10-minute break. Let's have a 10-minute break. Let's hide behind the curtain. Let's hide behind the curtain. Let's leave the decision to Tom. Let's leave the decision to Tom. Let's take a break for coffee. Let's take a break for coffee. Let's wait here till he comes back. Let's wait here till he comes back. Life is full of ups and downs. Life is full of ups and downs. Life is getting hard these days. Life is getting hard these days. Life is not all fun and games. Life is not all fun and games. Light travels faster than sound. Light travels faster than sound. Like good wine, he improves with age. Like good wine, he improves with age. Liquor is not sold at this store. Liquor is not sold at this store. Listen carefully to what I say. Listen carefully to what I say. Look at me when I talk to you. Look at me when I talk to you. Many friends came to see me off. Many friends came to see me off. Mary and I are in the same class. Mary and I are in the same class. Mary and I became good friends. Mary and I became good friends. Mary asked her son to behave himself. Mary asked her son to behave himself. Mary broke in on our conversation. Mary broke in on our conversation. Mary decided never to see him anymore. Mary decided never to see him anymore. Mary denied having stolen the money. Mary denied having stolen the money. Mary has a flower in her hand. Mary has a flower in her hand. Mary is going to help us tomorrow. Mary is going to help us tomorrow. Mary is interested in politics. Mary is interested in politics. Mary is not used to being made fun of. Mary is not used to being made fun of. Mary is respected by everyone. Mary is respected by everyone. Mary is too stubborn to apologize. Mary is too stubborn to apologize. Mary likes Japan, doesn't she? Mary likes Japan, doesn't she? Mary likes skiing the best of all. Mary likes skiing the best of all. Mary looked at herself in the mirror. Mary looked at herself in the mirror. Mary really takes after her mother. Mary really takes after her mother. Mary said she would do her homework. Mary said she would do her homework. Mary seemed to be bored with the game. Mary seemed to be bored with the game. Mary set the basket on the table. Mary set the basket on the table. Mary spread the big map on the table. Mary spread the big map on the table. Mary stared back at him in surprise. Mary stared back at him in surprise. Mary stayed up late last night. Mary stayed up late last night. Mary took out the eggs one by one. Mary took out the eggs one by one. Mary wants to become a teacher. Mary wants to become a teacher. Mary was able to swim across the river. Mary was able to swim across the river. Mary was looking for you at that time. Mary was looking for you at that time. Mary went down to the kitchen. Mary went down to the kitchen. May all your dreams come true. May all your dreams come true. May I ask you a couple of questions? May I ask you a couple of questions? May I have your name and address? May I have your name and address? May I leave this book with you? May I leave this book with you? Maybe he has lots of girlfriends. Maybe he has lots of girlfriends. Maybe you'd better come with us. Maybe you'd better come with us. Memorize the poem by next week. Memorize the poem by next week. Mumps is an infectious disease. Mumps is an infectious disease. My briefcase is full of papers. My briefcase is full of papers. My brother sends you his regards. My brother sends you his regards. My camera is different from yours. My camera is different from yours. My dog often lies on the grass. My dog often lies on the grass. My dog often pretends to be asleep. My dog often pretends to be asleep. My family goes skiing every winter. My family goes skiing every winter. My family is not all that large. My family is not all that large. My family isn't such a big family. My family isn't such a big family. My family will be away for a week. My family will be away for a week. My father bought me a bicycle. My father bought me a bicycle. My father drives a very old car. My father drives a very old car. My father is suffering from a cold. My father is suffering from a cold. My father sometimes goes abroad. My father sometimes goes abroad. My grandfather is very healthy. My grandfather is very healthy. My grandmother lives by herself. My grandmother lives by herself. My hobby is collecting old bottles. My hobby is collecting old bottles. My house is a long way from here. My house is a long way from here. My house is close to a bus stop. My house is close to a bus stop. My house is just across the street. My house is just across the street. My house is only a mile from here. My house is only a mile from here. My internet connection was cut off. My internet connection was cut off. My job is taking care of the baby. My job is taking care of the baby. My legs ached after the long walk. My legs ached after the long walk. My mother bought me a new bicycle. My mother bought me a new bicycle. My mother died when I was a kid. My mother died when I was a kid. My mother is in the hospital now. My mother is in the hospital now. My mother is not always at home. My mother is not always at home. My mother is strict about manners. My mother is strict about manners. My mother made a sweater for me. My mother made a sweater for me. My mother made some new clothes. My mother made some new clothes. My mother took my temperature. My mother took my temperature. My parents live in the country. My parents live in the country. My parents sent me a postcard. My parents sent me a postcard. My sister became a college student. My sister became a college student. My sister is having a baby in June. My sister is having a baby in June. My son is now as tall as I am. My son is now as tall as I am. My throat hurts when I swallow. My throat hurts when I swallow. My uncle lives near the school. My uncle lives near the school. My uncle works in this office. My uncle works in this office. My university has a dormitory. My university has a dormitory. My university has dormitories. My university has dormitories. My watch keeps very good time. My watch keeps very good time. My wife likes apple pie a lot. My wife likes apple pie a lot. My younger brother is watching TV. My younger brother is watching TV. No one could solve the puzzle. No one could solve the puzzle. No one had anything left to say. No one had anything left to say. No one stops to listen to him. No one stops to listen to him. Nobody in the world wants war. Nobody in the world wants war. Nobody was listening to the speech. Nobody was listening to the speech. Nobody was paying attention to her. Nobody was paying attention to her. Nothing can force me to give it up. Nothing can force me to give it up. Nothing seems to grow in this soil. Nothing seems to grow in this soil. Now he has nothing to live for. Now he has nothing to live for. Now it's time to say goodnight. Now it's time to say goodnight. Now that Mary has left, Tom is happier. Now that Mary has left, Tom is happier. Nowadays, many people travel by car. Nowadays, many people travel by car. Nowadays, nobody believes in ghosts. Nowadays, nobody believes in ghosts. Of course she can speak English. Of course she can speak English. Old people need someone to talk to. Old people need someone to talk to. One of the girls was left behind. One of the girls was left behind. Oranges are rich in vitamin C. Oranges are rich in vitamin C. Oranges have a lot of vitamin C. Oranges have a lot of vitamin C. Our dog was run over by a truck. Our dog was run over by a truck. Our school is 50 years old. Our school is 50 years old. Our school library has many books. Our school library has many books. Peace talks will begin next week. Peace talks will begin next week. People don't say that anymore. People don't say that anymore. Perhaps you'll never become famous. Perhaps you'll never become famous. Perhaps it will rain tomorrow. Perhaps it will rain tomorrow. Plastic does not break easily. Plastic does not break easily. Playing cards is a popular pastime. Playing cards is a popular pastime. Playing tennis is a lot of fun. Playing tennis is a lot of fun. Please accept my sincere apologies. Please accept my sincere apologies. Please add my name to the list. Please add my name to the list. Please call me at my hotel later. Please call me at my hotel later. Please correct my pronunciation. Please correct my pronunciation. Please don't take pictures here. Please don't take pictures here. Please give me a cup of coffee. Please give me a cup of coffee. Please give me a glass of water. Please give me a glass of water. Please give me a sheet of paper. Please give me a sheet of paper. Please have someone else do it. Please have someone else do it. Please help me clean the house. Please help me clean the house. Please help me with this heavy baggage. Please help me with this heavy baggage. Please help yourself to some fruit. Please help yourself to some fruit. Please help yourself to the cake. Please help yourself to the cake. Please help yourself to the fruit. Please help yourself to the fruit. Please hold the line a moment. Please hold the line a moment. Please keep my place in this line. Please keep my place in this line. Please move your car out of here. Please move your car out of here. Please put it back in its place. Please put it back in its place. Please refer to paragraph 10. Please refer to paragraph 10. Please say hello to your parents. Please say hello to your parents. Please show me another camera. Please show me another camera. Please shuffle the cards carefully. Please shuffle the cards carefully. Please speak as clearly as you can. Please speak as clearly as you can. Please stay as long as you wish. Please stay as long as you wish. Please wait a little while longer. Please wait a little while longer. Please wait around for a while. Please wait around for a while. Please wait outside the house. Please wait outside the house. Please write to me once in a while. Please write to me once in a while. Quite a few Americans like sushi. Quite a few Americans like sushi. Raise your hand before you answer. Raise your hand before you answer. Read Lesson 10 from the beginning. Read Lesson 10 from the beginning. See you tomorrow at the library. See you tomorrow at the library. She accompanied him on the piano. She accompanied him on the piano. She advised him about what to do. She advised him about what to do. She advised him against doing it. She advised him against doing it. She advised him not to buy a used car. She advised him not to buy a used car. She advised him not to do that. She advised him not to do that. She advised him not to drink too much. She advised him not to drink too much. She advised him not to drive too fast. She advised him not to drive too fast. She advised him on how to stay healthy. She advised him on how to stay healthy. She advised him on that matter. She advised him on that matter. She advised him on what books to read. She advised him on what books to read. She advised him to save money. She advised him to save money. She advised him to be more careful. She advised him to be more careful. She advised him to be punctual. She advised him to be punctual. She advised him to become a teacher. She advised him to become a teacher. She advised him to come back at once. She advised him to come back at once. She advised him to come by 2:30. She advised him to come by 2:30. She advised him to cut down on smoking. She advised him to cut down on smoking. She advised him to do more exercise. She advised him to do more exercise. She advised him to drink more milk. She advised him to drink more milk. She advised him to get more exercise. She advised him to get more exercise. She advised him to give up drinking. She advised him to give up drinking. She advised him to give up smoking. She advised him to give up smoking. She advised him to go by bicycle. She advised him to go by bicycle. She advised him to go home early. She advised him to go home early. She advised him to go on a strict diet. She advised him to go on a strict diet. She advised him to go there alone. She advised him to go there alone. She advised him to go to the hospital. She advised him to go to the hospital. She advised him to go to the police. She advised him to go to the police. She advised him to keep his promises. She advised him to keep his promises. She advised him to leave earlier. She advised him to leave earlier. She advised him to lose weight. She advised him to lose weight. She advised him to read more books. She advised him to read more books. She advised him to read those books. She advised him to read those books. She advised him to see a lawyer. She advised him to see a lawyer. She advised him to see the dentist. She advised him to see the dentist. She advised him to stop drinking. She advised him to stop drinking. She advised him to stop smoking. She advised him to stop smoking. She advised him to study harder. She advised him to study harder. She advised him to take a long holiday. She advised him to take a long holiday. She advised him to take a rest. She advised him to take a rest. She advised him to take the medicine. She advised him to take the medicine. She advised him to take the money. She advised him to take the money. She advised him to visit that museum. She advised him to visit that museum. She advised him to work harder. She advised him to work harder. She advised him where he should stay. She advised him where he should stay. She advised him where to stay. She advised him where to stay. She advises him on technical matters. She advises him on technical matters. She always says nice things about him. She always says nice things about him. She announced her engagement to him. She announced her engagement to him. She answered my letter right away. She answered my letter right away. She apologized to him for being late. She apologized to him for being late. She argued with him about money. She argued with him about money. She argued with him and then hit him. She argued with him and then hit him. She asked him if he knew where I lived. She asked him if he knew where I lived. She asked him if he was happy. She asked him if he was happy. She asked him to call her later. She asked him to call her later. She asked him to come into her house. She asked him to come into her house. She asked him to give her some money. She asked him to give her some money. She asked him not to quit his job. She asked him not to quit his job. She asked him why he was crying. She asked him why he was crying. She asked me what had become of him. She asked me what had become of him. She assured him that everything was okay. She assured him that everything was okay. She attacked him with a baseball bat. She attacked him with a baseball bat. She attacked him with her fists. She attacked him with her fists. She avoided him whenever possible. She avoided him whenever possible. She beat him to death with a golf club. She beat him to death with a golf club. She began to like him right away. She began to like him right away. She blamed him for all her problems. She blamed him for all her problems. She borrowed the book from him. She borrowed the book from him. She called him every bad name she knew. She called him every bad name she knew. She called him every other day. She called him every other day. She complained about my low salary. She complained about my low salary. She complained to him about the food. She complained to him about the food. She complained to him about the noise. She complained to him about the noise. She cooked a special dinner for him. She cooked a special dinner for him. She couldn't convince him to go home. She couldn't convince him to go home. She couldn't take her eyes off him. She couldn't take her eyes off him. She cremated him against his wishes. She cremated him against his wishes. She cried as she read the letter. She cried as she read the letter. She decided to get married to Tom. She decided to get married to Tom. She did her best never to think of him. She did her best never to think of him. She did her best to persuade him. She did her best to persuade him. She did her best to rescue him. She did her best to rescue him. She didn't feel like eating lunch. She didn't feel like eating lunch. She didn't intend to let him drive. She didn't intend to let him drive. She didn't intend to let him kiss her. She didn't intend to let him kiss her. She didn't try to evade the truth. She didn't try to evade the truth. She didn't try to translate the letter. She didn't try to translate the letter. She didn't want him to go overseas. She didn't want him to go overseas. She didn't want him to leave the room. She didn't want him to leave the room. She didn't want him to play poker. She didn't want him to play poker. She didn't want him to stay any longer. She didn't want him to stay any longer. She doesn't care how she dresses. She doesn't care how she dresses. She doesn't want him to go to Boston. She doesn't want him to go to Boston. She doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to talk about it. She dumped him for a richer man. She dumped him for a richer man. She dumped him for a younger man. She dumped him for a younger man. She expected him to leave town. She expected him to leave town. She expected him to solve the problem. She expected him to solve the problem. She expected him to take the bribe. She expected him to take the bribe. She explained to him why she was late. She explained to him why she was late. She feeds her dog a meat-free diet. She feeds her dog a meat-free diet. She followed him home, then killed him. She followed him home, then killed him. She forced him to eat spinach. She forced him to eat spinach. She forgave him for killing her father. She forgave him for killing her father. She gave him a piece of paper. She gave him a piece of paper. She gave him a sweater on his birthday. She gave him a sweater on his birthday. She gave him an expensive watch. She gave him an expensive watch. She gave him something cold to drink. She gave him something cold to drink. She gave him something hot to drink. She gave him something hot to drink. She gave him something to drink. She gave him something to drink. She gives him everything he asks for. She gives him everything he asks for. She got him to eat his vegetables. She got him to eat his vegetables. She had a good time talking with him. She had a good time talking with him. She has a daughter named Mary. She has a daughter named Mary. She has beautiful handwriting. She has beautiful handwriting. She has forgiven him for everything. She has forgiven him for everything. She has known him for a long time. She has known him for a long time. She has never danced with him. She has never danced with him. She has never gone on a date with him. She has never gone on a date with him. She has never sung a song with him. She has never sung a song with him. She has nothing in common with him. She has nothing in common with him. She heard him sing his favorite song. She heard him sing his favorite song. She herself gave him something to eat. She herself gave him something to eat. She hired him as a programmer. She hired him as a programmer. She hired him as an interpreter. She hired him as an interpreter. She ignored him almost all day. She ignored him almost all day. She ignored him pretty much all day. She ignored him pretty much all day. She ignored him until he became rich. She ignored him until he became rich. She intended to become an actress. She intended to become an actress. She introduced her sister to him. She introduced her sister to him. She introduced me to him at the party. She introduced me to him at the party. She invited him in for a cup of coffee. She invited him in for a cup of coffee. She is being blackmailed by him. She is being blackmailed by him. She is distantly related to him. She is distantly related to him. She is on friendly terms with him. She is on friendly terms with him. She is related to him by marriage. She is related to him by marriage. She is the one who feeds our dog. She is the one who feeds our dog. She isn't good enough for him. She isn't good enough for him. She kept me waiting for 30 minutes. She kept me waiting for 30 minutes. She kissed him on the forehead. She kissed him on the forehead. She knew better than to argue with him. She knew better than to argue with him. She left home 10 minutes ago. She left home 10 minutes ago. She lived with him all her life. She lived with him all her life. She looked him right in the eye. She looked him right in the eye. She loved him with all her heart. She loved him with all her heart. She made friends with him in Boston. She made friends with him in Boston. She made him a cake for his party. She made him a cake for his party. She made me wait for half an hour. She made me wait for half an hour. She made up her mind to go to college. She made up her mind to go to college. She married him for his money. She married him for his money. She might have met him yesterday. She might have met him yesterday. She needs him more than he needs her. She needs him more than he needs her. She nursed him back to health. She nursed him back to health. She often goes to the movies with him. She often goes to the movies with him. She ordered him to clean up his room. She ordered him to clean up his room. She persuaded him to marry her. She persuaded him to marry her. She picked him up at the station. She picked him up at the station. She pleaded with him not to leave. She pleaded with him not to leave. She pointed her finger at him. She pointed her finger at him. She praised him for his honesty. She praised him for his honesty. She presented him with the trophy. She presented him with the trophy. She pressured him to quit his job. She pressured him to quit his job. She prodded him to work harder. She prodded him to work harder. She promised to meet him last night. She promised to meet him last night. She pulled him out of the mud. She pulled him out of the mud. She pushed him out the window. She pushed him out the window. She really wants to lose weight. She really wants to lose weight. She recognized him immediately. She recognized him immediately. She reminded him to go to the bank. She reminded him to go to the bank. She reminded him of his mother. She reminded him of his mother. She revealed the secret to him. She revealed the secret to him. She risked her life to save him. She risked her life to save him. She said that it might be true. She said that it might be true. She sat next to him and listened quietly. She sat next to him and listened quietly. She sat next to him with her eyes closed. She sat next to him with her eyes closed. She sat next to him on the bus. She sat next to him on the bus. She saw him driving his new car. She saw him driving his new car. She saw him eating a sandwich. She saw him eating a sandwich. She scolded him for being late. She scolded him for being late. She spends a lot of money on books. She spends a lot of money on books. She spent all afternoon cooking. She spent all afternoon cooking. She spent some time in Boston. She spent some time in Boston. She spoke to him about the matter. She spoke to him about the matter. She stared at him in astonishment. She stared at him in astonishment. She stared at him with hatred. She stared at him with hatred. She stole a lot of money from him. She stole a lot of money from him. She stood as close to him as she could. She stood as close to him as she could. She suffocated him with a pillow. She suffocated him with a pillow. She surprised him with a kiss. She surprised him with a kiss. She surprised him with a small gift. She surprised him with a small gift. She talked him into buying a new house. She talked him into buying a new house. She talked him into quitting his job. She talked him into quitting his job. She taught him everything she knew. She taught him everything she knew. She taught him how to play the piano. She taught him how to play the piano. She testified that she saw the man. She testified that she saw the man. She thanked him for all his help. She thanked him for all his help. She thinks about him all the time. She thinks about him all the time. She thought that I was a doctor. She thought that I was a doctor. She told him all about her childhood. She told him all about her childhood. She told him that he was right. She told him that he was right. She told him that her father had died. She told him that her father had died. She told him that she didn't love him. She told him that she didn't love him. She told him that she was happy. She told him that she was happy. She told him that she was leaving. She told him that she was leaving. She told him that she was sad. She told him that she was sad. She told him to rewrite his resume. She told him to rewrite his resume. She told him where to put the suitcase. She told him where to put the suitcase. She took care of the children. She took care of the children. She took him for all his money. She took him for all his money. She urged him to consider the request. She urged him to consider the request. She urged him to drive carefully. She urged him to drive carefully. She urged him to study harder. She urged him to study harder. She used to be a very shy girl. She used to be a very shy girl. She used to enjoy being with him. She used to enjoy being with him. She used to help him with his homework. She used to help him with his homework. She used to play tennis with him. She used to play tennis with him. She visited him on October 20th. She visited him on October 20th. She waited for him to come home. She waited for him to come home. She wakes him up every day at 6:30. She wakes him up every day at 6:30. She walked around looking for him. She walked around looking for him. She wanted him to help her father. She wanted him to help her father. She wanted him to sing her a song. She wanted him to sing her a song. She wanted him to stay longer. She wanted him to stay longer. She wants him to be her friend. She wants him to be her friend. She wants him to be just a friend. She wants him to be just a friend. She wants to play golf with him. She wants to play golf with him. She was advised by him not to go. She was advised by him not to go. She was advised by him on that matter. She was advised by him on that matter. She was advised by him to be punctual. She was advised by him to be punctual. She was advised by him to lose weight.